Where would we be without the various products delivered by the men and women in the trucking industry? Healthy Conversations in Trucking podcast is a platform for professional long-haul truck drivers to share their journeys over the road, educating listeners about the trucking industry and lifestyle. Now, let's dive into the conversation on this brand new episode. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this episode. I'm your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and I'm joined by my husband and co-host, Jonathan Huntley.
Hey, Doc, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm sitting next to you, so that's always great.
Aw, that's sweet. Well, let's chat today about a topic that I know a lot of people are familiar with, but it's a little new to us. And that's the topic of sleep apnea and CPAP machine. Long pause.
Yeah. Long pause.
Yeah. I think it's important I know this is very common among truck drivers. I remember when I was doing my dissertation research, one of the factors we looked at weight and work environment, sedentary lifestyle, eating habits, challenges to getting physical activity. We also looked at sleep quality because that's one of the common factors. So I know that it's something that is of an issue. It's connected to a lot of other health problems. Now speaking about sleep apnea. And then there's the CPAP machine. So the pictures that I would see of people wearing it looked very uncomfortable. I didn't know anyone at that time that, actually wore one or had been through that experience. So I did my research, finished, and, kind of moved on. But what was your thoughts around CPAP, and what had you heard from people that, that had to use one, or did you know people that had one?
I've known a couple people have had them, and the stigma out there as a driver is, they're just basically for the people that are way overweight, can't sleep, stop breathing at their night, and they're unsafe drivers, and, yada, 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 and the list goes on and on. So there was a stigma when it came to sleep apnea. And one of the reasons why I guess we're doing this topic now is the company that I'm with now has a lot of drivers. And when you start with this company, they, you have to renew your medical card. Mm-hmm. And I always have a 2-year medical card, and I still have a 2-year medical card. I came under the numbers for the requirements for a sleep study. I was under the numbers. But when these...
What do you mean about under the numbers?
There's certain numbers like the neck width of your neck, anything over 18 or stuff like that, or the obesity levels, the body index and stuff like that. So I was underneath that. I am 6'5", and at the time of this, I was 295 when I was getting this from my medical card. So when the doctor, our company has a full-time doctor and staff on site, and they handle all the medical stuff for the drivers. When he saw the results, he wanted to do a sleep study. Now, I was very resistant of it. I didn't want to do a sleep study. I thought I was fine.
Now, you're saying it nice. You were more than resistant. You're putting it in really nice terms.
I'm trying to be nice because I don't want to be yelled at by you, but I didn't want to do it. And it got to a point where I didn't have to do it, but I wouldn't have a job. And I really love my job where I'm at now. And so I did it, and I had to have it on for 4 hours. And I think I took it off after 4 hours and 3 minutes. I slept like crap. It was horrible, very uncomfortable. And I knew I was going to fail the test. So like 3 weeks later, I get a phone call from the health department and said, yeah, I failed and I need to have a CPAP machine, and they were going to pay for everything and send it to me. And again, I was very resistant, almost rebellious, and I didn't want to do it. And they said, you don't have to do it, but again, you won't have a job. They won't let you drive a truck. So I said, okay. there's a stigma, the drivers just don't want to be on it because it's just something that we feel that we don't need to do. And it's like Big Brother, the government, sticking their nose in something they don't know anything about and forcing us drivers to do things that we feel we don't need to do. So that's what it was. And, I've been on it now for about a week. And it is uncomfortable. And it's hard to get the proper numbers adjusted and things like that. But the more research I do and, living with a doctor in the house and all the research she does on everything, I'm sort of calming down about it a little bit and coming to grips with it. Now I am doing other things as far as dieting goes, and I'm not 295 anymore. I'm down to 275 now. So, and that'll still keep going down, but it's could be very dangerous. I mean, sleep apnea is you do stop breathing in the night and your brain's got to wake you up a little bit and tell you to breathe. So, yeah.
So since you open up this door, I'm going to go in it a little bit. So back to some of the stigmas and, this feeling of don't want the government telling what to do kind of thing. So that's what you hear a lot of. And so you feel the thought is that something's being forced on you that's not for your good or for your benefit. Don't see the reason why you need it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. I mean, it's, I feel that I've always slept well in the truck. Unlike the house, my truck, when I sleep at night, is like 65 degrees because it's just myself in there. It's really cold in the truck. And I know several drivers that sleep like that. And I feel I get a really good night's sleep. I wake up refreshed and ready to go. But, I'm on the machine.
I think that's really interesting that you felt that way because I sleep next to you and I've been wearing these silicone plugs in my ears for years just to quiet down the noise from your snoring so that I can get a good night's sleep. And I sat there and watched you and wonder if you're even breathing sometimes when you're sleeping because of the way that you're snoring and your mouth is open and it's like these long pauses. So I'm so surprised to hear you describe it like, well, I'm getting good sleep. I'm fine. But there's nothing around you that even indicates that, me. Like you even say to me, you got your ears in yet? Like you just get used to me wearing earplugs like I just do it because it's a hobby. I do it because of this train that comes through the bed at night. At least it's what it sounds like.
But it's mute to me. I don't hear it.
I understand. But you do see that I'm going through all these changes.
I do. I understand.
There are times that I've left the room and slept somewhere else because the train was so loud. But anyway, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I do want to share a little bit about the sleep apnea, just for the record, because if there's someone listening who felt like you did before having to, until this was kind of forced on you, you didn't even have to do the research to understand, what it is or what the problem may be or anything. But, the most common cause of sleep apnea is excessive weight gain and obesity, which is associated with the soft tissue. I'm reading a definition now. The soft tissue of the mouth and throat. During sleep, the throat and tongue muscles are more relaxed. This soft tissue can cause the airway to become blocked. And that's what you were experiencing. There's actually the American Sleep Association, if you want a resource to check into some of these things. If you've been diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea, as it's referred to, there's a good chance that your doctor wants you to wear a CPAP machine. Now, I kept trying to figure out what the CPAP really stood for. So I had to go looking that up because I'm a researcher. But continuous positive airway pressure, that's what CPAP stands for. And it's a therapy that is common to treat obstructive sleep apnea. The machine uses a hose connected to a mask or nose piece to deliver constant and steady air pressure to help you breathe while you sleep. So just a little simple clarification there. When we think about, because of course I'm talking to you, Jonathan, you know about my research. You had a lot to do with me picking the topic, and I spent years working on research. And what I was able to uncover in my own numbers and statistics is that the majority of the population of long-haul truck drivers in the United States are already either overweight or some class of obesity. And because obesity increases this chance of sleep apnea, they're correlated, they go together. They're looking at this population of truck drivers even more closely, because if we have a population where there are a lot of that already overweight and beyond, and higher, like an obese class, then there's a good chance then there's this higher risk or higher chance of people having sleep apnea and needing to be treated. The dangerous side of that is if it's untreated, it can result in congestive heart failure and even worse. So there's a lot of benefit to getting treatment ahead early, as opposed to letting it go untreated for you personally. And I think that I'm not going to ignore or downplay those feelings you have. When there's stigma around something and there's these feelings that rise up, anytime you have to do something different, wear some equipment, a brace, a CPAP machine, anything that's different, it can make you feel some kind of way. But after a while, settling into whatever this new regimen is, this thing that is good for you or better for you, hopefully comes over you and you can settle into it and be better because of it. I know it's only been this is only in the first week, but do you notice any positive changes so far?
It's hard to say because, the first day I woke up and, I felt like I didn't get any sleep because I've got this mask on my face and this hose coming out of my head. And, I'm trying to put this, on a funny note, I'm trying to put this mask over my head and the head brace and stuff. And my wife knows that when I'm not very good with change, so she stays back, doesn't say nothing, and just let me do my thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm doing my thing and I can't get it. And I look at her and this machine or this mask is just, I look like it's, I don't even know how, what was the snorkels?
Okay, y'all.
Anyways.
He was frustrated. He was fumbling with had the box open and all the equipment all pulled out, and he's watching videos. I don't even know if you even looked at the instructions, but he's just watching videos on how to do what to do. And
there was an instruction book.
And I was he's really grumpy and grouchy, and he was extra grouchy and he was irritated. And I was not walking into that fight. So I was trying to mind my own business. And I was reading some stuff and I was staying in my own little side of the room, and he's just cussing and fussing and fumbling around. And he finally asked me a question. I looked up and so hearing all this noise, I look up and he's got all this hose and headgear and all this stuff. And it was just funny because he was extra frustrated. And he was just, I don't know if he had most of it connected right, but he's like, I need your help. If you'd like to help me,
please press 1. Yeah, I'm glad she did what she did because it would have been it wouldn't have been good. I don't like change too much. Do I see a difference yet? No, I'm still fumbling around with the numbers. Your doctor sends the machine already preset to what they think is good sleep for you. But I have found over the past 2 nights, it wasn't pumping enough air into me. So I upped my numbers a little bit. And last night I did sleep, a little bit better. I went to bed late and woke up early to go to work. But I'm going to stick with it, not only just for the company side of the things, but, I want to be around for a while, and looking at some of these diseases and stuff that pop up from, troubled sleeping and things like that, the congested heart failure. And, I want to be around for a little bit. So I'm going to give it a go.
We'll keep you updated. I think that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk about it here on the podcast, because I know a lot of you are probably more seasoned. Maybe you've been, wearing yours for a while and you've got this down. It's a reality for a lot of people, and it's a new one for us. One thing I noticed right away is you're not snoring, which was
probably snoring. You just can't hear it through.
No, I woke up. It was very uncomfortable because it was so quiet, and I had to just kind of lean over and like check on you.
So it was almost like I wasn't there.
Well, no, I mean you were there, but it's just so quiet. I've never experienced that. You've always been a snorer, so.
Yeah, I've been known to rattle some walls.
But yeah, we'll be sharing a little bit more on this topic over time. Every now and then give a little update. But I'd love to hear from those of you out there that are, like I said, this is your reality. Maybe you've got something that you like to share as it relates to your experience with sleep apnea or CPAP. We'd love to hear from you. As always, if you're over the road truck driver, we welcome you the conversation. We invite you to be a guest on the podcast. All you need to do is go to our website, healthyconversationintrucking.com, and click on Be a Guest. And you just simply fill out some basic information, schedule a time to speak with us, and we'll call you at that time and have the conversation and put the episode together. You can share about your journey over the road and your experience with the CPAP, if that is your reality, or any other challenge that you have been facing with, over the road, because this is a way that we can share takeaways, insights, and help each other.
Yeah, this is new to me. I've been driving for a very long time. There's not a lot of stuff that I'm going to see that I don't know on the road, but this is new to me, and change is difficult. So if there's anybody out there that has any good advice for me to make my wife's life a little bit more enjoyable, I would appreciate it.
But yeah, anybody that would like to come and absolutely share your experience, tips, and whatever with CPAP, I know Jonathan would be all ears. He will listen. That's another reason why we have this podcast. Listening and hearing from your peers is just so much more soothing and easier to go down than just kind of feeling like you're being told what to do. So we do invite you to come and share. And if you feel that you don't want to use your name with your story, you can use a different name, but it's just share your story.
Yeah, we'll talk to Ricky Bobby. No
You're
problem here.
You're always bringing that up. Well, that's all I have for now. Do you have anything else you wanted to add on this for this?
I don't. It was a difficult topic to talk about because I don't want to bring that kind of business, put it out there, but it's a very important topic. So I think it needs to be discussed. So any insight from anybody else would be great. And we'll be giving updates too. If people are curious about, how I'm handling it and any progress we have with it, we'll update you soon.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you all. Thank you for listening. And until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Conversations in Trucking podcast. Learn more or be a guest on a future episode by visiting healthyconversationsintrucking.com or simply HCITpodcast.com.